Sanders is on the Senate Committee for Environment and Public Works and the Budget Committee. Senator Sanders, thank you for being with us tonight.
Great to be with you.
So, why aren't we?
Well, the answer is pretty simple. Everything you said is true. Everybody knows you have to invest in infrastructure. We can create millions of decent paying jobs in the long term, and I speak as a former mayor. You obviously save money because you don't have to do constant repairs, as we've just seen. The simple reason is, I'm afraid, that you have a Republican mindset that says, let's see, we can repair the infrastructure, save money long time, create millions of jobs. Bad idea. Barack Obama will look good. And we have got to do everything that we can to make Barack Obama look bad. So, despite the fact that we had a modest bipartisan transportation bill, roads, bridges, public transit, passed the Senate with over 70 votes, Inhofe, the most conservative guy in the Senate, working with Barbara Boxer, one of the most progressive, we can't get that bill moving in the House of Representatives. So if you're asking me why, I would say 100% political. If it's good for America, if it creates jobs, if it's good for Barack Obama, we can't do it.
Now, some Republicans say, and some people say, didn't we do infrastructure a couple years ago? You heard a lot in the stimulus that we had done infrastructure. So how come we have all of this outstanding infrastructure?
Because we have ignored infrastructural needs for a very, very long time. Yeah, we did put money in infrastructure. We put it into the state of Vermont, put more money into roads and bridges, but we need a lot more, and that's true for the other 49 states as well. We have, and it's not only roads, it's not only bridges, it's not only water systems, it's mass transportation. It is rail. China is building high-speed rail all over the place. We are not. Our rail system is in many ways deteriorating. We have schools that are aging. We have culverts that need work. We have tunnels that need work. We have an enormous amount of work that is ready to go right now, and it is beyond comprehension that our Republican friends will not support infrastructure legislation.
Now, one of the things that I think people sometimes miss in the infrastructure conversation is that for the last couple of years, we used to do infrastructure bills for many years at a time, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. For the last couple of years, we have passed 9 short-term bills in Congress instead of one. The Inhofe-Boxer bill is only 2 years, but that's longer than a couple of months. And that's meant, as I understand it, states and localities can't plan future and bigger infrastructure projects because they don't know what the federal government will or won't be doing in a couple months, making essentially every dollar we're spending on infrastructure now less effective because people can't plan for the future around it.
That's absolutely. And I'll tell you something. Every day that we delay right now getting this modest transportation bill done is a serious problem because we're in the state of Vermont, you don't do roads in January and February. We do them in the summertime. And the construction companies need to know that they're ready to go, and they need to know it now.
One of the things that we used to do in infrastructure, and that I know is holding up the surface transportation bill in some ways, is we had a gas tax for it. It was a tax on gasoline. Ronald Reagan raised it by a nickel when he invested in infrastructure. And one thing that's been remarkable to me in this conversation the last couple of years, just showing how far both parties have moved right on the tax issue, is that even Democrats refuse to broach the idea of a gas tax. And with that not even on the table anymore, I do wonder where we're going to be funding it in a sustained way going forward.
Well, that's a good question. I'm not a great fan of the gas tax because I come from a rural state. You got a lot of people traveling long distances to work, and they're making $10 an hour. But we're living in a country right now with the most unequal distribution of income and wealth. The wealthiest people paying the lowest effective tax rates in decades. There are ways to raise money to create jobs and rebuilding our infrastructure without doing it in a regressive way, in my view.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you so much for being around tonight.
My pleasure.
And one of the brainiest, best